there guys, what's going on? So lately, of course, around my channel or around my WordPress blog, you probably see me trying to either get caught up on some things or keep you up to date on some recent concert events, some shows, some really cool things going on like that after I got back from the whole hiatus, vacation, being away deal. But thinking about it today with some of the things that I wanted to cover actually really brought me in mind of another video that should be up alongside this, in which I talked about these couple of records here, along with one other one that I acquired while I was on the road from Rough Trade Records in Williamsburg. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I should just take a couple minutes here, like, 10, something like that, 10 to 12 probably, and talk about some of the really cool things that I saw in New York City. Most of them music related, of course, because duh. So, first off, we have Broadway. Now, obviously everybody knows about Broadway in one respect or another, whether you've gone to this many shows or you've never been within miles of where Broadway actually takes place. Everybody, you just know the name. It's one of those time-honored, things that's just like, it's an institution, if you will. And it's like Hollywood, but with a lot less plastic surgery. It's a fantastic thing, and I've never really gotten to be close to it. I've been to Times Square and I've been to the city, of course, before, but this was my first occasion to really get to go and see it, be in a good seat, not right up in front, because you don't want to be too close. Your neck, you do things to your neck, it's a whole chiropractic visit. You want to be back in the crowd a little bit, not too far, but just enough to see Les Miserables, which actually, while I had not seen it in play form before now, I loved the movie version, despite its many flaws. Russell Crowe about 1,000,000 times over. Let's all just air our grievances out against that man in that film right here and right now, because that was a terrible portrayal of Javert. But I finally got the opportunity to see it in its proper stage play form, brought back to the stage and the anniversary and the whole deal that this run they've been doing with this great new guy playing Jean Valjean, all this stuff. To kind of just sum it up to you in quick terms here, because I've got a lot I want to talk about in this little video. It's an amazing experience. It's a whirlwind. It's an unbelievable whirlwind. Just all of the sights, the big signs, the smells. Of course, it's New York City. There's always the smells, and all of these things, and you these big theaters and this history, and you go inside these theaters and you've got people, there's merchandise over here, this to the left, that to the right, here's your ticket, go that way, go up, go over, go right, go down right, people being pointed up in the balcony, left, right, left, right. It's a crazy bit of a whirlwind to get into it and kind of settled into the whole deal. But then, like, the show begins, the lights go down, you see this thing with Les Miserables written on it up on the stage and all this stuff, and then the lights go down, the curtain comes up, and it's an amazing event. The singing, the routines, the choreography, the people doing everything, moving set pieces, stuff, people just going around each and every single place, and off Broadway, seeing plays, all that stuff, that's a really amazing, really cool experience. But when it comes down to the institution of it all, Broadway is it. And it is an expense, and it is, a little, it's a little something, but it's definitely worth every single penny to see just the sheer tour de force of it all. The guy playing Valjean, who was nominated for a Tony Award, whose name I'm sure I will not pronounce properly, Ramin Karimloo, K-A-R-I-M-L-O-O. I apologize in advance for probably getting that wrong. Unbelievable. As Valjean, the vocal range, the skill of it all was just dynamic and unbelievable. Really, I could not go on enough about that man. And everybody from the ground up, even if there was somebody in there who's, like Epony's voice was a little bit too high, but it still works. It still was good, and it just all worked together, and it was just one of those, it's like, it's the best of the best of the best, and they're on the stage doing this thing, and it's like, you just don't get better in regards to stage plays and the whole thing than Broadway, and Les Miserables is just fantastic. You do the intermission break, you feel like you should be wearing a suit and like a tux and a whole deal. You feel very fancy, and it's an amazing once in a lifetime chance to go and spend your evening, and I could not recommend something like this more highly. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about here in just a little bit more detail, harkening back to the other video that should be up alongside this one, or at least relatively around each other, is Rough Trade Records. Rough Trade Records, you know, I love indie record stores. I love indie record stores, record shops, hole-in-the-wall places, Angry Mom Records, Ithaca, New York. I always have to say it, I always have to plug them. I love those guys. I love all of those places. And some are better than others. Not all record shops are created equal in that respect. But they're amazing. I love talking about them. And Rough Trade Records is like one of the pinnacles, the peaks of unbelievable indie record shops, and just such a cool place. Even the phone ringing is not going to throw me off, because who cares? There's only a few locations. They just opened another one in London. They're very limited, but it's such a cool place. It's set up in this old warehouse in Williamsburg, which is a pain in the ass to get to, but that's a different conversation. And it's got all these different, you know, you got levels, you got a lower level with records, and you got an upper level with books and novels and reading material and all kinds of really amazing things. They have their stage area where acts and artists play, like Strand of Oaks played there. I think Langhorne Slim was going to be playing there coming up. They've signs up for who's playing, what records are about to come out. The Morrissey World Peace Is None of Your Business record was about to drop at the time, or it was on the cusp of doing so. But at the time they were watching the World Cup in the whole stage area. They had this massive screen, a TV in there. People are all watching the World Cup, so everything down below is like really, it was empty, and you could really look into stuff and check out all of the different categories. And the selection, you know, the selection was unbelievable. I even think I mentioned that really quick in that video, to find something like Chris Christopherson, or even this recent release of this Hardworking Americans album. It's just like, I love my guys at Angry Mom Records, you know, and I will tell you that all day long. They are the best. They're fantastic guys, but it's like, you get into these bigger places, they're ones they cover, they encompass more releases, more genres, more things, like stuff that they might get glossed over in smaller places. And that's the kind of thing I can really just appreciate, just looking through the stacks. They're cool, like inspirational quotes, things to do with music on the walls, lyrics on the walls. They're selling turntables and 45 adapters and all of these amazing things all around you. It's a mecca for music lovers, and it's a beautiful place to go. It's such a cool thing, and you got to wish them all the success. They're in a good place for it, and just that, you know, they get bigger over time, because that is just such a cool place. And damn it all for being down in the city, because it is so much fun. The big places that just like you go into them, and it's like, it almost reminded me of, even though this is still a smaller scale, of Amoeba Records out in California, which is just this big sloping scale of just stuff. All kinds of things, and just things to get lost in and look through and just have an awesome time with. And I was just so blown away by Rough Trade. And those are really my big musical highlights there. And to close up this little NYC love video, if you will, Broadway is just, it's an amazing, just penultimate, best of the best, top of the stage experience. It's beautiful, it's amazing. It'll just feel like 3 hours just melts away. It melts away, I kid you not. Rough Trade Records, unbelievable place, such a cool place to go, so much great selection, so much fun there, and I just always have such a good time down in the city. I didn't go to any venues this past time, but things like Carnegie Hall, and just all kinds of great stuff that's just there and available, and so much fun to do, music related, food related, artistic related, just to walk the streets of places like Williamsburg and stuff like that and just see the culture. It is such a cultural experience, so much more than, believe you me, where I live, which is the exact opposite of that. It's a cultural experience of a different sort of satire that's not as pleasant or as flattering. So I hope you appreciate my little talk there on Les Miserables, on Broadway, on Rough Trade Records, these Chris Christopherson thing, this Hardworking Americans thing. I cannot say enough about it. if you get a chance, get yourself down to the city, see the musical sites, see the artistic sites, just take a walk down the street and see the cool stuff that is happening around you. I could not recommend it highly enough. And keep it here, guys, because there's a ton more still to come.